Kia ora! Welcome again to the RebeccaAnneKnits YouTube channel. I'm Bex and welcome to my little place on the internet where I love to talk about all my knitting. It's been a while as usual. I never seem to make it back here within less than a month. I think it's been about 5 or 6 weeks since I last recorded, so I have heaps of things to share with you today. I have 2 sweater finished objects and multiple socks and other projects and lots of new cast-ons and lots of acquisitions. So get comfy and join me to chat about all the things that I have been working on. Welcome. For anyone new here, like I said, I'm Bex. I'm a knitter from the Hutt Valley in Wellington, New Zealand. I'm a midwife by trade. I have 3 beautiful daughters. I'm married and I love to knit and go on walks in the outdoors in my free time. So I've got lots of things to share with you today. I do have my notes because I am very much a knitting and coffee kind of girl, and I could not remember everything that I have done since I spoke to you last. So let's get on and have a chat about it, shall we? Finished objects. Let's start with the first one that I'm wearing. This is my pink Lento that I talked about casting on in my last podcast. I'll stand up so you can see the full thing. This is the Lento stockinette by the Carranam. I have knit this in yarn by Miss Babs, who is an American hand dyer. I brought this yarn on a D-stash, and it is her, what's it called, Kulanjali or something base. It is Polworth and silk, and I absolutely love how it turned out. Yeah, what else to say about it? Obviously it has this beautiful gold zip pull, which I brought from Rivendell. And I'm a little bit bummed about how my sewing in of the zip went just at the bottom here. It's a little bit janky, but honestly, if you wear it with the zip pulled down, you can't even tell. So that's mostly how I've been wearing it, just to take the pressure off myself on that. But yeah, overall I'm really happy with the fit. It fits really nicely. The collar's quite structured, so I can zip up all the way to the top. I don't tend to wear it like this. Well, I haven't been yet, but it's not super cold yet, so I may yet wear it quite highly zipped. I've been mostly wearing it open, and I absolutely love it. I cast it on just before I went away at Easter time. We went on a road trip to Auckland at Easter, which is 8 hours driving there and back, and I had done the collar and picked up for the back panel before I left, and other than that had the whole sweater in it, and so I got through a heap of it over Easter, and then finished it off once I was home. So absolutely loving this, been wearing it all the time. It's so nice. I just have it on with my like active gym leggings today, so you can kind of gives an active athleisure vibe, but also I wear it with my jeans, and absolutely love this sweater. Highly recommend. She also has a version of this pattern. The original was done in half fisherman's rib, which is a lot more labour intensive and yarn hungry, but I'm absolutely loving my stockinette version. What else have I finished? I also finished, let's just start with the garments, shall we? I was working on, last time I had started knitting the sweater vest that I was making for my sister. Now actually I still can't find my microphone, so I have my earbuds in today, so I'm just going to check my audio and make sure that it's actually recording nicely before I like go on and talk about 1,000 other things. One momento please. Okay, it appears that it is recording fine for the audio, so I am going to sorry, I just managed to start music playing in my ears and I was like, whoa. It seems like it's recording okay with the audio as well, so we'll continue for now. I was talking about the sweater vest that I had started knitting for my sister. I have finished it. Oh my gosh, this was a labour of love. It really felt like it took so much time and effort to get through this. Sorry, it's a little bit wrinkled because I had it folded up to send off to her. but I haven't quite made it to do that yet, so I can show it to you in real life. Here we go. It's a full colourwork motif sweater vest that in brushtail possum is the background colour, and then all the contrast colours are possum merino blends from skeins, apart from the pop of coral, and that is an outlaw yarn, Bohemia Light. And this was a bottom up sweater vest, and it was steeked for the armholes and the neckband, which was all rather new for me. I had done one steek before on a cardigan, but never done armholes and never done a neckband. But yeah, look at that. I think my tensions come up really nicely. Has been blocked, obviously not worn. I'll show you my floats and steeks, which are relatively tidy, I think. I'm pretty happy with how that's kind of come out. I had a lot of back and forth with this, trying the different motifs from the pattern. I didn't particularly love the pattern I used. It was called the Academic by Skandia, and I felt it was a bit lacking in instructions, but I just kind of did my own thing with it and used the numbers because it did fit the gauge and the weight of yarn I wanted to use. And it was nice to do the colour work just totally in the round and not need to worry about doing it flat. So yeah, it's come together really nicely. I am so grateful to have it off the needles. I cast this on back in March, early March I think, and finished it just about a week ago. So I will be getting this sent off to my sister, who hopefully it fits. I think it will. I think it will. But yeah, it's feels like a big achievement to have made a full colourwork sweater vest, and I hope she really enjoys wearing it this winter in chilly Christchurch. So that's a big finished object, and honestly it feels so lush. That possum blend yarn is just so delightful. I've also made one other sweater since I spoke to you last. I couldn't quite believe it when I was compiling my notes. I'm like, oh, I've made 2 whole sweaters that weren't even cast on since I last talked to you. And this was a bit of a spontaneous knit because Sarah from Mama Wooling announced a Mama Wooling knit along in the lead up to Capital Fibre Fest, which was last weekend. And of course I have plenty of Mama Wooling yarn in my stash, and so I decided that, well, I needed a nice simple knit for my trip that I just took to Queenstown, and I wanted to do something familiar, a repeat knit, something I could do without thinking too hard about, because I was going to be doing lots of travelling, lots of driving, lots of relaxing. So who's surprised? I cast on a Lento in Mama Wooling's colourway. I had the plush fingering 4-ply merino base, and her mohair as well, silk mohair, and I cast them on together and made a Lento. I cast this on my way to Queenstown and just finished it a couple of weeks later. I didn't super rush to the end, just got it done in time for Fibrefest. I knit on 5.5mm needles. The pattern's written for 6, but 5.5 was a slightly nicer fabric. And I didn't fold the collar down, and the only other modification I made was that I pretty much knit straight sleeves. I picked up the recommended number, did one decrease right at the very beginning and one about 10 centimeters down, and then knit straight until the cuff, where I then knit 2 together all the way around and halved my stitch count to have a nice tight cuff and a slightly balloony sleeve. I used exactly 2 skeins. I had the tiniest wee bit of merino left over, so I used 800 meters to create this sweater, and I absolutely love it. I made a size either 3 or 4. I have to look it up. It'll be on my Ravelry project page. I think I made size 3. And I haven't actually checked my post blocking and wearing gauge, but I was pretty much on point. So yeah, isn't this just absolutely lush? It looks so lovely. I'll pop in a photo of me wearing it, but maybe I'll wear it on the next episode unless I've finished another sweater by then. Probably not. And yeah, absolutely love that. So I finished this one as well since I spoke to you last, and it's just absolutely lush. Now I need to put up an Instagram post to enter into the cal, because I did post it in my stories but not in an actual lasting post, so I should get around to putting that up. Yeah, because she is doing a wee knit along. Now of course, because she's doing a knit along, I've cast on some socks in Mama Woolen yarn as well, but I'll talk to those in WIPS because I haven't finished those yet. Other things that I have finished is after I finished the episode last time, I went away and cast on. I know I talked to you about making a hat and fingerless mitts set for myself with the leftovers of my cashmere, and so of course I got that in the brain and couldn't put that down, so I went away and cast those on. So here is the mitts which I made. So I used that leftover, one's upside down, Cardiff cashmere that I had, Cardiff cashmere prime, sorry, so it was the lace weight silk cashmere blend, along with some 100% merino dip dyed yarn that I had as leftover from skeins. And so I made this pair of fingerless gloves. I made them really tall so that I can keep my fingers warm when I'm going on walks, but also they can just fold over like that if you need, if you want to wear them for driving or knitting while I'm walking. Really nice long on the wrist to keep my wrist nice and warm. Really love them. They're so lush and soft. I mean, merino cashmere silk, how could you go wrong? So I finished the gloves, and I still had a little bit left over of the prime and of the merino, so I made a hat to match, sort of. It does have a contrast, so I did the brim in the same combo of the merino and the prime, and then I ran out of both of those. You can see if I unfold it, I got this far and then ran out, and so this is a ball of just plain coloured skeins merino from my stash. I had some left over. Here we go, this is the remnants. It's just a machine washable merino in this soft, like, what kind of colour would you call it? It's like a soft kind of dusty rose kind of colour, and I held it with some leftover Surrey alpaca, I think, that I had from Mama Woolen. Is that what I ended up using, or did I just use a mohair? No, I think I just ended up using a very soft cream. Yeah, I'm just looking at my ends, which I haven't woven in very well, but you can see I held it with just a strand of like off-white mohair from a comb. I did look at using the Mama Woolen brush Surrey, but it was too similar to this but also different, so I decided to just make it plain. For this, I just grabbed the numbers off some other patterns of fingerless gloves that I own, and just freestyled it basically on their cast on numbers. And for the hat, I used a pattern called My Baker's Hat, which was a free pattern on Ravelry, and I just wanted a basic beanie numbers basically, and it just has 4 decrease points there. I won't put it on because I have my hair in a cool little clip and it will just look ridiculous. But yeah, so I have a nice little few ends to finish off hat and mitt set for the winter. I haven't really worn them yet because it hasn't really got cold enough yet for hat and mitts. So I finished those. I made another pair of socks for my workmate. I was knitting her the DK and the fingering weight tramping socks, and I gave them to her, and she was delighted, and her daughter noticed the socks and thought that they were wonderful as well. And so the ball I hadn't used got returned to me and asked, could I make another pair for her daughter? So I'll put in a photo of those because I've since given them. So I did make another DK pair of socks for my workmate's daughter, which were very much appreciated. And I made another pair of fingerless gloves, speaking of gift knits, for one of my workmates who saw me knitting on these at work, and she thought, oh, they look great, I'd love a black pair. So I was like, oh yeah, I could probably do that. So not immediately, but within the next few weeks I cast on and knit her a plain black pair of these. I knit it in pearl, black pearl from Skeins, which I don't have a ball handy, but it's like this. That's the brand. I don't think they're making it anymore. It's one of their recycled blends, and her one was merino, suri alpaca and silk blend in black, which I don't have. I do have some more of it somewhere, but it's buried. So I used exactly one ball. Barely had enough. I didn't do the double folded cuff for hers, just a single cuff, and I can put in a photo that I took of those. Lento, vests, Lanark, hat and gloves, mitts, vickies, socks. The other thing that I was working on, and I mentioned last time, is I got those sock tubes from my friend Amy, and so here I finished. Now these have been worn, so sorry, they're not in looking their most bestest. I have been wearing these socks already, but I finished the making the first pair from the tube that was Woolberry Yarn Co. And so I made these ones quite tall. So the second pair from this tube will be more of an ankle sock, but I finished off the first pair of these, and I used Skeins' sock yarn, their original sock yarn, which they've changed their formulation of now, but it's just a merino nylon sock yarn, and that colour is called Quarry Ridge. So I made those, and so I just cut in the heels and did afterthought heels and cuffs and toes on those because the tubes were already machine knit for me. And then I knit these as well, which have turned out a little big. I'm actually going to put them in a warm machine wash, I think, and just see if they will just up a little bit, because they're a little bit bigger than I expected. I did do 60 stitches on these, whereas I would normally do 56, so maybe that's where I went wrong, but I was trying to get the stripe sequence to work nicely. And this yarn is by Handmaiden. This is one of her gobstopper balls, and I cast these on at Easter as well. And I worked on the cuff and the leg of the sock while standing in line for rides at Rainbow's End in Auckland with my children. And I've since finished the second one. These have also been worn, so sorry, they are looking a little bit worse for wear as well. But absolutely love these colours, and I just decided to continue with the same colour for the heel, and I just used 3 colours. I did my normal shadow wrap heel, and then I did just break the yarn for the rest of the blue and the dark pink, so that I could continue with the stripe sequence correctly back here, back at the start of the stripe sequence. So they turned out really nice. I really love them. I loved working with this yarn, and you will see in my acquisitions section, if you stay around for that, that I have since brought some more of Amy's self-striping yarn, because I absolutely adored this base. It is so nice, and hand-dyed self-striping is such a joy and such a luxury, so that's really lovely. So I finished those socks as well. So 2 pairs of socks, 2 sweaters, a sweater vest, 2 pairs of gloves, a hat, and that's quite a lot for 5 weeks, don't you think? I am really stoked with how much I have got through. And of course I have other WIPs that I am working on as well, so we'll have a chat about those too. I'm just going to grab a sip of my tea, because already talking a lot. The cute new mugs I bought recently. Much better. Okay, so WIPs. What am I working on now? I have way more socks on my needles. I have a chest knit, and that is mostly it. I have kind of been casting everything off, and I have been trying not to rush into casting too many new things on, though I do have plans for all the cast-ons. So let me talk to you about what I have cast on. Let's go for the socks first. So I cast on, and I've nearly finished the next lot of sock tube socks. So this was my next sock tube. Now I can't remember who this one was by. A hand dyer that I hadn't really come across before, but I had it in my stash. I think I was gifted it anyway. Really fun and funky. Obviously no ends sewn in yet, but I have done the heel, the toe and the cuff on this one, and I have picked up the heel, but I've finished the cuff and the toe on this one. Just needs the heel to be finished. So that's really nice. They're coming along nicely. This is a high twist merino, which is not my most favourite sock yarn to knit, which is actually why I chose to have this one made into a tube, because I thought I really like the socks, I really like the yarn, but I'm not going to love the knitting experience as much as I would with some other sock yarn bases, so I thought I'll get this one made into a tube. So I've nearly finished the first pair of those, and for this I just literally split the tube in half, and I still get these quite long, like really good sized socks. I have 60 rows for my foot, and I probably have 65 on my leg. So I just did 10 rows of rib because they were already quite a decent length sock. So I'm working on those. Here's one of my cast-ons for the Mama Wooling cowl. I took this sock down to Queenstown with me as well as my kind of handbag on the go project, and I finished the first one of this pair. So this was a sock set that I purchased from one of my girlfriend's stashes actually. I think it was a sock club sock set from 2022 from Mama Wooling. And it came, so it's not a current colourway you can get, but it came with this beautiful tealy coloured mini and this gorgeous variegated purple. And so I cast that on, and I just finished this one off, the toe on this one yesterday. So that's my number one of those, and I've literally just cast on for the second one. I did stripy rib cuff, and I just did 4 rows in rib in that colour, and then then change colour and knit the first row in stockinette before changing to rib again, and that just allows you to have that nice clean change in the colour rather than it having the pearl bump show through in the colour change. So I did the stripy cuff and just a solid toe. I considered doing a stripy toe as well, but I thought no, I'll just do it. Seemed too fiddly. I just did the teal toe. So I really love those. They're gorgeous, hey. So I've got a second one of those still to go. I did quite a lot of walking and knitting on this sock, which as you know, if you've been around or if you follow me on Instagram, is one of my most favourite things to do, is go for a walk down by the river and take a stockinette sock with me to knit on while I walk. I did a fair bit of walking and knitting on the sock in Queenstown. I can actually put a couple of photos in. It was absolutely stunning walk that my husband and I did round Lake Hayes in Queenstown, and I knit on this sock while I walked. It was absolutely lovely. And my other cast on sock for the Mama Wooling cowl is somewhere over here. I've got so much stuff surrounding me, and I finished one of these as well. Now I cast this sock on for Capital Fibre Fest. We had a lights up movie night the night before the Fibre Fest, so this was on Friday, and I cast on this sock and just about finished the whole thing during the movie. So this is a DK weight sock, and I got to about here in the one movie. It was so quick. For this I am using leftovers that I mentioned earlier, the Mama Wooling Surrey Alpaca Silk. I've got 2 leftovers from sweater projects I've done in the past. This became a Lento, and this was a duo tone test knit that I did, and so I had these like kind of part skeins left, and I was like, what am I going to do with these? There's not enough for a whole project. So they're becoming socks, so I'm holding that with this really fun skein that matches so perfectly, which is from Vintage Pearls, another New Zealand hand dyer. So I'm holding the fingering weight mohair with the lace weight alpaca and getting a DK weight sock. I'm knitting on 3.25 needles. I just dropped my little alpaca into my tea. Oh, that was not great. Oh my goodness. Thankfully, like the liquid is just sitting on the surface. I shall have to blot that off. Oops. Anyway, it was a wee distraction using those, and so I have done the pink. I had less of the pink, but I did the pink heel, toe and cuff on this one with the aqua kind of colour through the middle. I cast on 44 stitches on 3.25mm needles because the sari is quite thick, so it is quite a thick yarn, but they are gloriously soft. Did my favourite shadow wrap heel again, and I have cast on the second one, and I'm going to actually do this one in the reverse colours. So I have a teal cuff, and I'm going to do the main body of the sock in the pink and do a teal heel and teal toe, because it's used surprisingly little of the yarn to get through it, so I'm pretty sure I have enough of that. My 8-year-old daughter has fallen in love with these, and they are actually too big for her because they're actually a tiny bit on the big side for me as well. I could have done 40 stitches, I think, instead of 44. But anyway, that's right. That's what happens when you try socks different gauges. So if there's any leftovers, I promised I'd make a pair for her. So this is my other entry into the Mama Woolen Cal, because I'm using Mama Woolen yarn. They should be finished this week. Honestly, they're so fastened up. These will be going in my work bag to finish off if I have any quiet shifts at work this week. So that's all the socks. I have those 3 socks. I also still have, if you've been around, you would have seen before, I was doing a test knit pair of lace socks, which the test knit finished ages ago, and I completed the requirements for the test knit by completing 1 sock. This was for AnneKnits. And these are called the Blooming Vines socks, and I finished the first one ages ago within the test period. It's a toe-up sock with a lace motif across the front of the foot and a fleagle heel. So lots of new things for me in this sock, and then some embroidery at the top. And before the test knit ended, oh, my needles come out, bother. I had got up to, I'd done most of the foot up to the part where you do the increases for the fleagle heel, and sorry, this earbud is bugging me quite a bit. Need a better solution. Then I stopped, and I haven't picked it up since. I need some quiet time where I can get back into the pattern and work on the fleagle heel. For this, I am using this beautiful pink yarn by Vintage Pearls. And I need to get back to these. Eventually I will, because they're absolutely beautiful, and I will thoroughly enjoy wearing them once they are finished, but they are not yet finished. So they are still a work. Yeah, I kind of just got over the concentration needed to, you can see I've stolen the needles off them too for other pairs of socks. Concentration needed to do a different heel construction and the full lace motif, and so I haven't been back to those, but eventually I will get back to those. What else am I working on? I think I mentioned last time that another one of my workmates had asked me about knitting a sweater scarf cardigan. Did I talk about that? I can't really remember. I didn't go back and review my last episode. One of my colleagues, actually the same one who I made the socks for, asked me about knitting a sweater scarf for her, and so I showed her the pattern by Knititude, and she purchased some yarn. She purchased Flight Naturals from Skeins in the colourway Falcon, and this is a DK weight New Zealand Merino. And I have cast it on, but I haven't been back to it because I got distracted with other projects. And this is kind of just goes to work with me. It's also lost its needle, so I'm going to try and fix that just briefly. So you literally knit, it's knit flat, a gigantic long scarf looking thing, and then you sew the cuffs into tubes. I mean, I don't know why you don't knit it as a tube anyway, but whatever. You don't, that's not in the pattern. I did think about modifying it, but I decided just to do what it said. So you knit, because actually my flat rib is a bit nicer and neater than my in the round rib, so I thought it's not all bad to knit it flat. So you basically knit a length of rib which essentially goes from your wrist to nearly your elbow, so quite a long, it's about 40 centimeters I think, strip of rib, and then you do some increases and you change to stockinette, and you basically knit this long stretch of stockinette, and then you do rib again on the other side, and you wear it like you sew it up to be a sleeve, and you put the sleeve on, wrap it round, put the sleeve on. Yeah, interesting. I hope it's going to work out okay. There's no timeline for this, so I'm just going to work on it across the next little while I'm at work. So I have probably close to half. I don't know how far up my sleeve does that go. Yeah, if I doubled it again, I'm probably about halfway through the first set of rib. But really easy, mindless, straightforward knitting, so great project to have in my bag at work. So that one will be coming back to work with me now that I'm done all my jumpers. Probably with a pair of socks too, so that I can intersperse it with something a little bit more interesting than brown and flatness. But yeah, I'm hoping that will turn out good. I am following a pattern, even though it's so simple you probably don't need a pattern, but I want to get the measurements right, and I have 8 balls, so 800 meters, so I'm hoping that will be enough. I will probably, I'm about halfway through my first ball, so I'll probably take note of how much I have used when I've got to the end of this set of rib, and just make sure that I keep that much aside to finish the second cuff, and then I'll just knit all the other balls as long as it will go, unless that's too long, we'll see. So that's that one. That kind of work in the background hasn't really been worked on much, but it has been started since I talked to you last. And I have worked a little bit on that crochet blanket I was doing for my girlfriend Helen. It hasn't made a huge amount of progress, to be completely honest, because I have not been inspired to work on it. I've been working on all these other sweaters, so that's still in the background. I haven't brought it along to show you today, but I am still slowly tootling along with that in the background. Also really another good project to have at work for quiet night shifts, but I haven't had any of those recently. They've been busy. Let's see, the only so sweaters, of course I must have cast on something else because I have no other sweaters. I don't really count this one for my workmate. So yes, I have. I signed up for a test knit. Not sure if I talked about this last time or not, but I signed up for a test knit for Perfectly Knotted. She is making this beautiful sweater pattern. It's just quite a basic top down sweater with 2x2 rib details, and she needed test knitters for the smallest size, which is not my size at all. I generally make a size 3 or 4 in most patterns, but my daughter would fit a size 1, and so I thought, oh, that would be quite fun. I want to make a sweater for her this year, so maybe I could do this test knit. So I asked her if she liked the design, and she did, and we picked out some yarn from my stash, and I have started that just since I finished the Lento, so only in the last 2 days have I been working on this. It looks really little because it is, but also because it's just the beginning. This is a construction I haven't done before, which is also really fun. So here we go. I'll show you what the beginnings of it looks like. It is a top-down sweater. So I cast on the back neck here and worked some increases. You make these little sleeve, almost like set-in sleeve panels, and you do increases either side of those, and then now I am actually increasing that portion. It's very hard to show you, sorry. So you can see it's kind of flaring out there at the bottom now. So yeah, it's quite interesting. You start flat, and I've just joined in the round about 6 rows ago, and I have about 6 more rows to go, doing the increase pattern that I'm doing currently, and then I change to raglan increases for the rest of the yoke, and then split for sleeves. So yeah, it's coming along quite nicely. It's small. It does feel small. It feels so much smaller than the size of a yoke for myself. This is for about an 80 centimetre bust, which my daughter doesn't have an 80 centimetre bust, but that does allow for 10 to 20 centimetres of ease. So that will work. She's the same height as me. She's 13, but she is much slimmer. So that's coming along quite nicely. For the yarn, I'm using from my stash this Mana de Toto wool. This is hand dyed in New Zealand. This is fingering weight, 360 meters, and it's a hand wash only, and it is a combo of merino cross 85% and 15% coloured Polworth. This colourway is called Stay Safe, and it's absolutely stunning, and you can see there's the real variegating, and you can see the coloured Polworth just popping through there where the dye is taken differently on it. It's so pretty, really, really lovely, like appley green. And it's a worsted weight gauge, 18 stitch gauge, and so I am holding this with actually some cheap and nasty mohair that I don't quite remember where I got from, somewhere online I think, or a big box store, I can't really remember, but it's a mohair wool nylon blend in this kind of sagey green, so I'm holding them together. This feels really squeaky. I'm not loving using this, and it's got a real like shimmer to it as well from the nylon, like you can kind of tell that it's got plastic in it, so it feels a little bit wrong holding that with such a beautiful hand wash New Zealand woolly wool, which is soft. It's not itchy at all, but just to make it up to the right gauge I needed to hold it with something, and I only have 2 skeins, so I couldn't hold it double. I have like 750 meters, and it calls for 800, so I'm hoping it will work out as it is. So yeah, you can see the fabric is a bit heathered there from holding the mohair with it, but I don't have anything else in my stash other than just holding a cream that would have worked, and the cream that I have is lighter weight, and so it really didn't get me the right gauge, but this did, because this seems a bit thicker. So yeah, it feels a little bit wrong to be combining those 2 yarns, and I can really feel I've obviously been spoiled by all the stunning hand dyed and like high-end commercial mohairs that I've used, because this is just not that great. But that's okay. My daughter loves the colour, and she loves the feel of the fabric, and she feels the cold, so she wears long sleeves under everything in the winter, like a long sleeve tee or a long sleeve like merino, so the feel of the fabric is actually really lovely, even if the knitting experience isn't as nice. But that's okay. It's coming along. It's a tighter gauge. It feels like a really tight gauge. It's only 18 stitches, but after doing the Lento on such a big gauge, it feels really dense. But it's coming out to gauge, and I'm using, what am I using? 4.5 millimeter needles to get an 18 stitch gauge. Yeah, so I'm actually really enjoying it once I've got over the sensoriness of not loving the feeling of the yarn in my hands as much. I think this will come together quite quickly, so I am looking forward to getting this done and off the needles. I have until the end of June, I think, to get the test knit done. I signed up several weeks ago and didn't cast it on because I wanted to finish the colour work vest first. So now I don't feel time pressured, but I do feel like I needed to get it going. So I have that one started, and that really concludes all of my active WIPs. But I have a very imminent plan that will be an active WIP very, very soon, and that is another gift knit. This one is for my other sister. I said to both my sisters who I've knit for in the past, would you like something at the start of the year? I think I talked about this in my beginning of the year video, and I made the one for Jess first because her birthday was in February and she's still not got her vest and it's May, but I will send that off to her hopefully today or tomorrow. And my other sister asked for a cardigan, and she had initially asked for quite a long line, kind of like quite simple open style cardigan, but I messaged her last week and said, hey, I'm finally ready to cast on your project, what would you like, are you still keen on the same thing? And she had changed her mind and she would like a normal kind of like regular slightly cropped length cardigan now, but with cables. So that's quite a lot more fun. So I sent her some options of cardigans that kind of met the brief and the like inspo photos she sent me. And we have settled on the Rivendell cardigan by Sarah Nordland. Now I own some of Sarah's patterns, but I actually haven't knit one up yet, so I'm actually really excited to knit one of her patterns. So I'll pop a photo in of what that pattern is, and I've picked from my stash Flight Naturals. So this is actually similar to the yarn that my workmate chose, but this is the fingering weight version, and this colour is called Kiwi. And it's just a really soft, light, oatmeal-y kind of natural undyed shade in 100% merino, and I'm going to hold that with some alpaca, it's an alpaca nylon wool blend from a cone that I have in my stash. So I'm going to hold those together to get DK weight gauge for this cardigan. I think it's maybe an 18 stitch gauge as well, I think. So I haven't swatched yet, I haven't cast on yet. It's all over moss stitch with cable down the front, V-neck, really gorgeous. It will look so classic and stunning in this. So I'm really looking forward to casting this on. I really wanted to cast this one on instead of the green one, but because the green one is a test knit, I really needed to get going on that first. So hence I cast that one on first, and I'm gonna, as soon as I have got through the yoke on this one, I will cast this one on. Well, I actually have the whole day off tomorrow, so I might end up casting this one on. We'll see. I'm going to try and resist until I've made it through the yoke of that one, which isn't too far, to be completely honest, and then cast this one on. So that's my like almost WIP imminent plan. And I think that will be really lovely. I think this will be a soft enough combo to wear next to skin if she just wants to wear it, you know, with like a little singlet or t-shirt under it. But I think it will be lovely and warm for the winter too if you wanted to layer it up. So that is my plan for that exciting cast on. I'm also going to cast on a sweater for her daughter. She is about to turn 1, my little niece Lila, and we're going to do a pullover. She's kind of sent me inspo pics of kind of like fisherman's rib brioche kind of style sweater, and she'd like it in a purple shade. So I think I have some options behind me, so I'm going to cast that on at some point too. She's having like a dedication / birthday celebration the first weekend in July, so I'll be keen to try and have that one done for then, but she's only 1, so it's a relatively small knit. It should come together quite quick, so I'm hoping to get maybe Ella's one finished and then get onto that if I've got time. Ella is my daughter. That's the green sweater, by the way, if that wasn't clear. Yeah, so that's kind of my plans. And the other plan that I have is I've heard rumours that the Kiwi Make-Along is going to come back again this year, I was part of hosting that last year, where we focused on knitting either New Zealand designed patterns or using New Zealand yarns, and over the winter months, June, July, August, and I'm really excited to hopefully be part of that again. And I still have my project that I cast on last year for that knit along, the pressed flowers cardigan. It's about halfway finished and it's still sitting, not abandoned, but yes, quietly hibernating in my WIP basket. And so I would love to bring that back into the rotation. I just need to get the test knit done so that I don't have any other pressing deadlines. And then I will bring that back into rotation as my next project for myself. So that's very exciting. And of course my other daughters want sweaters and I have all the plans and ambitions. But that's the next plan that I'm going to bring back in alignment with that, because that's all in Kiwi yarns and not a Kiwi designed pattern, but I'm sure I'll be able to find something else to knit too if I get through that one. But that's what I would really like to get finished after I make it through all the current things. Cool. All right. I think that's all the projects that I wanted to talk about, as if that wasn't enough. My sip of tea. It's going a bit cold now. I also wanted to chat briefly, like I mentioned, we had Capital Fibre Fest last weekend. That is the fibre festival that's held in the Wellington region. It's actually just like 5 minutes from my home. And it is put on and run by the Upheart Spinners and Weavers Guild, who I'm actually a member of now, and I'm also on their committee, because once I'm in, I'm all in, it seems. So I've been sort of in the background helping with organisation for that event this year, and got to help with the setup and the pack down and be present for the whole day, which was absolutely delightful. Got to chat with lots of the vendors, lots of the hand dyers and the yarn producers, and yeah, help the day run smoothly, and obviously be present and shop a wee bit, and it was absolutely wonderful. I have been on a little bit of a yarn buying spree recently, and so I didn't make huge purchases at that event, but I have got some acquisitions to show you that if you're interested you could stick around for. But it went really well. I think most people had a good time. The weather was horrible outside, but we had heaps of people come through the door and squish yarn and make purchases, and yeah, it was a really great event. I saw lots of people that I knew, and hello to Anne if you're there, who I met, who watches my podcast, and yeah, it was just lovely to just get to spend the whole day squishing yarn and being in kind of my favourite place. I did purchase from Mama Willing, because how could I not? I got this beautiful mohair from her, which I have been eyeing up ever since she released it on her website. This is called Everbloom, and this is her mohair silk blend. Now I brought this colour specifically because I had recently purchased on a D-stash, well, you can't see it in the shot, but a whole sweater quantity of this yarn, which is a recycled possum merino yarn from Skeins, made in collaboration with Nathan Taylor. So it's called Sock Matician. They're no longer producing this yarn, but I got this 10 balls of this, which is about 1,000 meters on D-stash, and so I took a little piece along because I had a sneaky feeling that this was going to go absolutely perfectly. Could you get a better match made in heaven? Like, that's just absolutely amazing. So this will be an upcoming sweater plan. This is a DK, and this is so it'll be kind of like a worsted to Aran weight gauge. I haven't picked a pattern yet. Like I said, I have about 1,000 meters of this, and I have 840 meters of this. I did just buy 2 because my budget didn't quite stretch to 3, and 3 would be more than I had of this. So I thought, well, I could always do like neckbands and cuffs just in this, and then add this for the body if I needed to make it go a bit further. But yeah, I'm so excited by that. It's absolutely beautiful. I brought this while I was in Queenstown, but from a D-stash page. thank you to my girlfriend Helen, who tagged me in the post and said, Bex, would you like this? And I was like, yes, I would. So yeah, that was one of my purchases on the day. I wanted to see the colour match rather than just buying it blindly online. So hence I waited for the day to buy that. And I also purchased from James of Joy of Yarn. One moment, please. James has got a shop that was over the Wairarapa in Greytown, and he's just moving it actually to central Wellington, which is quite exciting. And I picked up this from his bargain basket. This is his tūmaki, it's called. This is New Zealand Merino, and it's 400 metres, so it's a fingering weight. That's his shop there, and hand dyed by him, and this is beautiful hot pink colour, and it's slightly variegated. Can you see that? Oh. So I picked up 3 of these because there happened to be 3 in his bargain basket, which is the perfect amount to make a sweater with, and he had them on discount, so down to $20 a ball, so I couldn't say no to that. And I knew, because I know my stash. Can you see just up in the top corner up here? Wait, hold up, I can't do this pointy thing. Yeah, I can't make my up there. See that pink? That pink in the corner? That is a gigantic cone of mohair, which, can you see how well that's going to go? I'm probably going to just hold 2 strands of that mohair with 1 strand of this and do some kind of sweater. This is quite a high twist. It looks like quite a fine fingering weight. But it's so pretty. And if there's 3 balls of hot pink in your bargain bin, do you think I could leave it there? Not a chance. So that came home with me as well from Fiberfest. And I just absolutely adore that. It's already caked up too. How convenient. So very exciting there. I also purchased this on D-Stash when I was purchasing the Sockmatician. This is a Prosper Yarn sock skein, which is called Theory, and it's just beautiful. I couldn't go past that. From the same seller who was selling Sockmatician, so got to throw that in the package. And like I said, I've been on a little bit of a love affair with Amy from Handmaiden's self-striping sock yarn, so I did pick up some of that because she had the fibre festival she organises down south in New Zealand, 45 degree fibre, and she had made heaps of stock for that and had nothing on her website for ages, but once the festival was finished, everything she had left over she listed, and so I had to snap up a few. So I got this one. So she often makes her sock yarns into gobstopper balls, but I purchased them just in the skein this time. So this one, I don't think it has a colourway on it, but this is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 400 metres, self-striping. So there's those gorgeous colours there. And these gorgeous colours here. Look at that. I mean, does it get any more Bex? And then I also got this one, which is a DK weight sparkle base, which I just thought was lovely. So I do like a DK sock. So I got those 3 from her, which is a wee bit of a treat. Yeah. And I also picked this up on a D-Stash, which was just a bit of a, I was just talking with one of my knitting friends about Knit Picks palette and how we often see that online in the US, and that she was saying that's such a nice commercial sock yarn. I was like, oh, I've never tried it. And then one random ball came up on D-Stash, and these fun colours. I don't think this is a current colourway you can get, but this one is called, well, it did have a name on it. Knit Picks Felici, and this one's called Candy Shop, and this is merino nylon, just a 50 gram ball, but I will add some contrast heels, toes and cuffs and make that into some fun stripy socks. So yeah, and it's so soft. I am blown away with how soft of a merino nylon blend that is for a commercial yarn. And I get 218 yards. So I should get enough for a pair of shorty socks with some contrast heel toe cuffs with that. So that's very fun. So yeah, it's all about the stripy socks. It's all about the sweaters. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So yes, I have been shopping quite a bit recently. And knitting quite a bit recently. I have lots more to knit. I am also going to Woolfest in Auckland in 2 weeks. So if you are in the Auckland area and you are planning to come along to Woolfest, I'm flying up just for the day because I got some really cheap flights. So I am really excited to be doing that. So if you see me around, please feel free to come up and say hey and compare our purchases. So I'm going to try and keep the purchasing to a reserved amount since I've already been doing quite a bit of purchasing recently, but I'm just really excited to attend the event and see everybody and chat and squish fibre. So yeah, if you're going to be there, feel free to reach out, feel free to give me an email or hit me up on Instagram. I'm RebeccaAnneKnits@gmail.com, or hit me. My Instagram is RebeccaAnneKnits as well, so just feel free to get in touch if you'd like to meet up. I'm also going to Woolfest in Christchurch 2 weeks after that, so if you are in any of those places and would like to have coffee or just chat or just say hey, I would love to meet up with you. So be in touch. And what else do I want to say? The other thing that's been really, maybe it's been fueling all my purchases, but they've not been the same purchases, that I've been seeing all of the internationally dyed advents come out for sale, if you've been noticing that. Seems like March, April is the time where all the international hand dyers release their themes for the year and put up their pre-orders, and oh, they're all just so amazingly beautiful. And just with exchange rates and shipping, it's just completely unattainable. Well, not unattainable, but it just doesn't feel like it's a good use of money to be paying that kind of, $400 or $500 for a set of mini skeins. So I have not purchased any. I have been good, but that's got me thinking about advents and mini skeins, and I actually have 3 advents from the Christmas just been, 1 swapped one and 2 hand-dyed ones that I haven't done anything yet with. So I really am finding it hard to justify purchasing one, but by the time the New Zealand hand dyers release theirs later in the year, I might be tempted. But I did want to just mention that for the last 3 years I've done a scrappy swap advent with somebody, and if you would be interested in doing a scrappy swap advent with me, it can take any form. I've done 10 gram mini skeins, I've done 20 gram mini skeins. We could do like 4 full skeins, like 1 a week. I don't know, if anyone is interested in doing some kind of scrappy from your stash advent swap with me for this coming Christmas, please feel free to get in touch as well. I would be really keen to do something because I just love opening that little package of joy every day, even if it's not like a super cohesive curated palette, if it's just something fun and funky, or within kind of like, I don't know, but just stuff from our from our stashes. We all have lots of leftovers that get leftovers from projects, or like I have plenty. It would be really fun to swap and try some different yarns, and it's just fun putting the whole package together as well. It's such a delight. So long way to say, if you're at all interested, please reach out. It would be really fun. Ideally someone in New Zealand, just because of how crazy shipping is at the moment, but potentially Australia could work too. But yeah, just reach out if you're interested in doing something like that with me. I would be interested in doing it with you. So yeah, I guess that's kind of all I wanted to really share. Otherwise, life is pretty standard over here. I've had a trip to Auckland and a trip to Queenstown, and I've got these lovely little yarn events coming up too. So I've got lots of joy happening. My work is just standard, busy but good, and yeah, my family are all well. We're just ticking along, doing the things that we do. through the middle of the year. Beautiful autumn colours around now, and it's starting to get a lot cooler in the mornings, and wetter a lot of the time. It's been very wet. So yeah, starting to feel all that cozy winter knitting inspo, and yeah, just it's the cozy season, it's the knitting season. Let's get into it. So feel free to leave a comment below if you've got any questions about any of my projects. I try to keep my Ravelry updated, so if you've got any questions about a specific project, check on there. I'm not particularly good at show notes, so best place is to look on my Ravelry page, or send me an email, hit me up with a comment. Feel free to message me on Instagram, and yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful time. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are enjoying your knitting, whether that's cozying down for the winter months with me, or whether that's getting excited for the summer knits and the brighter, lighter days in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm wishing you all the best, all the happy knitting, and ka kite. I'll see you next time. Bye.